Okay, so welcome back. So now we're actually going to look at the meeting with self template. And as you can see here at the very top, it says meeting with self 30, 60, 90 days. A lot of people in sales actually use this sort of time frame to think about how they're managing the business. And being strategic is critically important from the standpoint of being in command of what we're doing. And that's why this idea of thinking ahead, taking time to reflect, as you'll see here, it's mentioned in the very first habit of the 7 habits of highly effective strategic leaders. That's essentially the idea of taking time to reflect. Why is this important? We've talked about this before. At the very least, it's going to give you an opportunity to step out of the game and think about the game, right? You got to get out of the business so you can work on the business. That's why it's very important for us to think about doing this on a weekly basis and make sure that this is a very sacred time where you are going to sit and use these questions to guide your thinking. These questions are not necessarily the only questions you want to think about, but they are a key reminder of the strategic aspect of the business. And that's why when we start looking at the very first question, what's the organization's current vision? What are the top 3 business outcomes we're working to achieve? Are we as a team all aligned? These are important questions to ask so that you can look at the specific tasks and projects your team and teams are working on, and then ask yourself, are they related to what we're trying to achieve in the bigger scheme of things? And this might help you to reflect on maybe there are some activities that are not as strategically important, and maybe they are still relevant for the business and we need to do them just to keep the lights on. That's absolutely fine. The recommendation here is to hopefully have a mix of activities where some of them are very, very clearly tied to what the company vision is. What is the opportunity for taking business to the next level? And you as a leader may need to do some work to convince others in the company that you and your team need to have a share of working on activities that are having a very clear line to where the business needs to be. So that's very important for us to kind of get the message that, hey, if you're not doing this, you may want to work on your own influencing activities in order to make sure that some of the work that you're doing has very clear connection to the bigger company vision and business outcomes that it is trying to achieve. The next question is really talking about how you're looking at the issue. Do we have the right perspective? Are we problem finders or problem solvers? Do we look at the issue and come with an attitude of possibility, an attitude of let's figure this out? Are we bringing new ideas to the table? Are you fostering the generation of new ideas with your team members? Are you going to them and asking them and listening? That's very important of being a strategic leader, that you're actually somebody that canvasses and fosters and looks for ideas and sends the message to the team that this is something that you'd love to see. And then, of course, you take the time to celebrate the ideas. You celebrate the people that are bringing them to the table, especially also if you can try to see if you can create some teaming activities that will help generate ideas so that people start to see that you're looking at the team itself as the entity that can actually generate these ideas. And then, of course, you can expand that view, have them team up with other teams so that you can continue to drive more collaboration and ideas that are cross-functional, that are vetted by more than a different perspective from different teams. And I think this is really something that will, again, send a signal that you are unique in your own way. You're not like other leaders who are just focused on running the operation and they are thinking, oh, I'm going to let my actions speak for themselves. We actually want people that can set that aside and think about all of this as table stakes. Of course, we want you to do all those different things, but we also want you to have a measure of effort. 20% of your time is to think about how do we act much more strategically as a team and also cross-functionally. The third question is, are we positioned to achieve our highest potential vis-a-vis our top business goals? And again, the question here is, are you making use of your team in the best way possible? Have you actually seen the resumes? Have you actually looked deeply at their skill sets? Have you had a deep level conversation with each one of them? Because sometimes you get to lead a team, you come on board, they are already there. And again, because of the daily grind, you never really had a chance to get to know each one of them at a close level. And the point we're trying to make sure you do here is, imagine you are actually running your own business. When you look at your team, you are the CEO of that team. And if this is your team and this is your company, highly likely, because you want to get the best value from each one of them, highly likely you want to spend some time getting to know them much, much more closely so that you can understand what are the strength areas that maybe we're not tapping into them enough, or maybe there are strength areas that we don't even know that they exist on the team. And we will never know unless we go asking, unless we go and have these conversations and we are willing to listen. So I'm going to pause, let you think about these top 3 questions. Take some time now to start to think about, what are your responses to these questions? And when we come back, we are going to look at questions 4 and 5 and continue working through the template with you.